So first of all, today we will see the introduction of Linux. What is Linux and why it was developed and who has done this mistake because of whom you have paid this money to learn Linux. Which internet is connected? Linus Benedict Torvalds. I think there is some issue with internet. Linus Benedict Torvalds. So this is the full name, and he is the one responsible for this class which is organized today. Okay. So you can write this name Linus Benedict Torvalds. Everywhere you will get the name only Linus Torvalds, but full name is Linus Benedict Torvalds. So he has developed Linux. Ganga, come this side with your chair. Keep your laptop here first. Wait, Kaviraj. Wait. Let her shift here. With your chair. Keep it here, na? Hey. Kaviraj, shift that chair here. So this Linus Benedict Torvalds, he was a different type of a student, not like how we are nowadays. Okay, whatever our trainer says, we are happy. We write it, no argument, no questions, and we go home. Just we think that this is our fate or our destiny. So he was a different type of a student when he was reading in universities. On that time, he thought that why I should use any operating system which is not free, why I should use any operating system where we cannot add our own tools, any program. So he wanted to develop an operating system which is available free for all, or if anyone wants to modify that operating system, they can do. So suppose today you are using Mac, but you are not thinking that I should create a Mac like operating system and that should have our own choice of application. For example, today you are using Mac OS and Mac OS is not compatible with lot of things. There is dependencies. If you want to use this, some specific type of software will only work there. But you never think that no, whether I should create something different, any operating system similar to the Mac. No one is thinking nowadays. But he was the one who thought on that time. He was using one operating system. That operating system name was Minix. Okay. So he was using which operating system? Minix. And what exactly is a Minix? Minix is a small or miniature version of Unix. Okay. So Minix is what? A small or miniature version of Unix. Unix is an old operating system in this Linux family. So during his studies in universities, people were using Minix operating system. And if you want to see how Minix look like, we have the option to download also. Okay. So first thing, who developed Linux? Linus Benedict Torvalds. Okay. How he got this idea? By using Minix operating system. And what was the place? Like you know about the Buddha. He got some knowledge and something under one tree. So similarly, that room was the room of University of Helsinki. So this is the building where he got this idea. University of Helsinki, Finland. The location is Finland, Europe. So now overall about the introduction of this Linus Benedict Torvalds, we can say Linus Benedict Torvald was not was is still he is alive, is a Finnish citizen. Finnish means he is a citizen of Finland. He was studying in University of Helsinki and working on Minix, and there he got the idea to develop a free operating system similar to Minix. Is it clear? So this is the history behind Linux development. Because anything is developed if there is any requirement. Without any requirement, no development or discovery is done. So the requirement was in his own mind that he wanted to have a free operating system where anyone can modify and create his own operating system similar to Minix. So this one is clear. Now, along with this, two, three more terms will come. Like one is called GNU. Okay. So this is the GNU project. Okay. So GNU means GNU's not Unix. Okay. So GNU project was the project under which this Linux was developed. And when we talk about the license, okay, GPL, General Public License, okay, GNU General Public License. So this Linux was developed by Linus Benedict Torvalds under the project GNU and the license GPL. Clear this one? So GPL is the license. Same thing is mentioned in the book also, but just to give you some idea. General Public License is a widely used free software license which ensures user have the freedom to run, to share, to modify and distribute the software. It operates under a copyleft principle, not copyright. Copyleft principle means any work must also be distributed under the same license. That is the reason you will see any version of Linux is available free. You will not see any license for which they are charging. Yeah, all Linux is free. So that's why you see, na, it operates under a copyleft principle. any derivative work must also be distributed under the same license term, thereby protecting the same freedom for all users. Okay. So this is the rights under general public license. That is the reason you can see nowadays we have almost 80 to 100, almost not 80 to 100, 60 to 70 different varieties of Linux, or we can say distributions of Linux is available in market. But when we talk about Windows, how many companies are there who make Windows? Only one. Mac OS, only one. Okay. But in Linux, if you see, there is a lot of companies. They have developed their own Linux, and all the Linux are freely available. You can download it and you can use it free. Now the question is, then what is the profit for those companies? If they are giving free operating system, then what is the profit? If you want update, because once you install, configure the server and services, and next day, suppose today you are using 8, after few months 9 launched by the company, so what you will do? You will format it, delete your machine and create machine with 9. You will do in the corporate, you cannot delete your machines. Services are running, even you cannot shut down your servers. Then the money comes in picture. You need the updated version, come for the money. Linux I am giving free, but if you need update, you have to take the subscription, you have to register, and there the company gets money. I am bound to give the software free, but I am not bound to give knowledge free, support free. So if you need any official training on my product, you have to pay for it. If you need any technical support, you have configured service, it is not working or it is misbehaving, you need support, then you will come to whom? Software companies. And if they give you technical support, they will not give free. For that they are charging. So this point is clear where they charge. Okay. So for update and support they charge. Okay. And that is the reason when you are going to install Linux, there is one option, subscription. So there we are not going to subscribe. The system is not registered. So we are not registering for the services because we don't want to pay. We have the choice. If it is not going to work, we will delete and create new. But in the corporate, they don't have choice because their services are running. They cannot delete and create new. Okay. No need to write this all license. When you search here, you will get all the details. Just understand the concept and write the main terms. That is enough. Okay. So till now he is only 15, 54-year old. See. How Linus Torvalds makes money. People get this all information also, you see. Okay. So yesterday I have shared one book 033. Actually, this book is completely based on RHEL 5 version. You are working on it, but it is on 5 version. But what happens in most of the operating system, commands are same. Only where it will change in network commands. It will change in services when you are going to configure server. That steps will be different. But the basic commands will be same for almost Linux operating system, whatever you are going to use. And this book is very good. I have searched for the version 8 from Red Hat, but those books are just like a user guide. It's not in this format like slides. So that's why I share this book and follow this book for the basics at least, so it will give you more clarity. So now coming to the first Linux ideas and history. First word comes, that is open source. So open source means what? Huh? We can use where we don't require license. Open means you understand, and source make it separate and then try to understand. Huh? Source refers to source code. Okay, so any software which is developed, first coding is done. So that code the developer will not share, or the company who has developed that software, they will not give that code openly because they have invested a lot of money on these developers to develop that software. So they will not give code openly to all. And if they are not going to give that code, do you think people can make a copy of that? That is the reason we don't have any Microsoft similar type of operating system with from any other company. Mac OS similar type of the same with another companies. Okay. Source code you cannot copy. Even when you are going to develop for any company, that source code you cannot copy from the laptop to your pen drive. These all things are totally locked for the data protection. So open source means the source code is available for all. Open. Okay. So anyone can download the source code and can develop similar type of software by their own if they have the knowledge. So that's why we say Linux is an open source operating system. Okay. So if someone is going to ask you what is Linux, you can say Linux is an open source operating system, means its source code is available free. So anyone can download this. So you can see here open source means software and source code available to all. Okay. So source code, I hope you understood now what exactly it is and what is open source. Now the next is Free Software Foundation. So just now we have seen this GPL, General Public License. So freedom to run program for any purpose, freedom to study and modify the source code, freedom to redistribute the program or software, and freedom to create derivative programs. So means you can create a similar type of program by modifying the same. So you have the freedom. These all freedoms we get under the GPL, General Public License. Next is when this project was started to develop the Linux, it was 1984. And when the Linux was developed, it was 1991. So we can just make a summarized definition of this Linux. What exactly it is? Linux is an open source server operating system developed by Linus Benedict Torvalds. Linus Benedict Torvalds under, but don't say this again. Interviewer they will ask what is GNU and all. So Linux is an open source server operating system developed by Linus Benedict Torvalds in 1991. That is enough. So as a definition, you can give this line and it clears everything when it was developed, who has developed. Okay, so now you can define this. What exactly is a Linux? Now, when we talk about Linux distributions, okay, so we have lot of varieties of Linux available in the market. Okay, so Linux distributions means varieties of Linux. So who is the leader overall? That is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Second most, Ubuntu. Third, CentOS. After CentOS, Kali Linux, used by cyber security or security engineers, or you can say hackers. They use this Kali Linux to do for penetration testings and all. There is one more type of Linux, that is Backtrack. And one more Linux, that is there, Fedora. Fedora Linux is also from Red Hat. So Red Hat creates two type or develop two type of operating system: Enterprise Linux and one is Fedora Linux. So Fedora Linux is for personal use, not to create server. Like we have no Mac OS, we cannot create server with Mac OS. That is completely for personal. Windows Home Edition, that is for personal system, only laptop. We cannot use for creating servers or centralized management. Similarly, Fedora Linux is there. So if you want to use for server, for centralized management, then we use Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. So Fedora and Red Hat Enterprise Linux is from Red Hat both. So how many names you want to write? 60 are there. 60 to 70 almost. SUSE Linux, Mandrake, Parrot OS, Win Linux, hmm? Debian Linux. So nowadays this Parrot OS is also becoming famous because CentOS is going for end of life. So very soon this CentOS will disappear from the market. So people are going to use Parrot OS. So at least you should know 10 Linux names. In those 10, don't forget to include this much. Why? Because these are used mostly. Suppose interviewer is going to ask you, tell me 10 different names of this Linux distributions. And if you are going to miss any of this name, then he will be expecting the same answer from your side. You tell him 20 names and you don't say any one of these names, he will be expecting you should say this name also. Or maybe in the last he will add the same by his own. Okay. Because these all are famous and used mostly. So these are the distributions. Okay. Or whenever you have time and you want to write all the distribution, then you have Google here, Linux distribution list, and you will get like this: Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch Linux, Scientific Linux, SUSE Linux, Peppermint, Magia, Linux Lite, Sebian. So after this, Bodhi Linux, Lunar Linux, CowOS, KateOS. These all are Linux operating system. Clear? Super gamer. So Red Hat distributions means the varieties of Linux developed by Red Hat. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux is completely a stable version, thoroughly tested software, professional support services there, centralized management tools for large network means we can create server inside. Coming for Fedora, all the new application which Red Hat want to launch, they will launch in Fedora OS. They will take the review from market, and if things are liked by people, then they will add in the upcoming version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Community support. So there is no tech support or professional support for Fedora. There will be one community page. There you will post the question and someone uh, from the outside, not from the Red Hat, they will answer for your question and used for personal system, not for the servers. Linux principle. Everything is a file. In Linux, everything is a file including hardware. For your interface, network interface, there will be one file. For your hard disk, there will be one file. Okay. For everything in Linux, there will be separate file. A small single purpose program, we can execute programs means commands for a small task. Ability to chain program together. You want to run any complex task. Okay. Like in Deepavali, how you have done. Full crackers. Start from one will execute, it will initiate for another, and so on, it will continue. So similar type of thing you can do here in Linux also. So one command, output of first command will become input for second command. Then output of second command will become input for third command. Like that you can create a series of command and you can execute it by chaining it together with the help of pipes. Avoid captive user interface means here if you have any error, you will get the exact error, whether the command is not found, file not found, or any error, whatever it is. Next here we have configuration data stored in text. So in Windows operating system, if you see configuration data is stored there also, but you cannot open it and see what is inside. You can access configuration data through console, management console only, or through the program only. But here in Linux, you can access the configuration data through any notepad type of program. Means any text editor you can use, or any notepad, wordpad type of program you can use. Open and see what is written in the configuration. And if you want to modify, you modify it there, the configuration will change also. Understood? So in Linux, configuration data is stored in text. Clear? Any confusion in this all? Just save, that is enough. It will take effect. For example, to change the computer name, there is a one file etc hostname. Open it, go change the name, just type the new name, save it. Name changes. You see computer name change. You want to change IP address, go change it. It changed. Okay. So end of lecture 1. Now, 2 3 things are there which is very basic, and I know you know better, but I'll repeat. Okay. So, do you know about kernel, which we have in army? Colonel, brigadier. Similarly, so what does colonel do there? He controls the entire army. He gives the instruction. Correct? That is the work of colonel. just like a manager, you can say. Similarly, here we have the operating system. So operating system is of two parts. Okay, one is called kernel, another is called shell. The part which we interact, not this cell, this shell. Okay, kernel, shell, and application. Visible now? So first we have the hardware, like our laptop, desktop, or server. That will be as a hardware. On top of it, we will install the software. So that software is known as operating system. Means using the software, we can operate the hardware. Why we have purchased that hardware? Not to watch movies. There is some objective. We want to do some computing, that will be logical or mathematical type of computing. We want to get it done from the computer. For that, okay, for that we have installed operating system. So this hardware has to work. RAM, processor, hard disk, to store data, to retrieve the data. We are using it. So on top of this, we are installing OS, and this cell and kernel is a part of operating system. So operating system is divided into two parts. Like human body is having two parts. One is skeleton, another is muscle. So we interact with skeleton or muscles. And skeleton is like a core part of the body. If it is not there, will not be able to stand even properly. So similarly, this is the like a core part of the operating system kernel. Cell is what? It is just like a group of tools, the programs which we have. Okay, so we have the full programs, a small tool, Notepad, WordPad, MS Paint, command prompt. So all together makes what? Cell. So we are interacting with the cell. So what is the function of cell? Cell is responsible to take instruction from the user, execute it, and give it to the kernel. That's it. So cell work is take instruction from the user, execute it. So whatever command we give, we type the command, or when we click on any icon, in background it runs as a command. Okay, so that command is going to executed by cell and forward it to kernel. Now, what is the job of kernel? Kernel will have full control on the hardware. So kernel will take the decision that how much memory for this task, the instruction came from the user, that task, how much memory will be allocated, how much RAM will be allocated, how much priority will be there to use the processor, and it will make sure the work is done by the hardware. And hardware does not means only our processor and RAM, our camera, our monitor, our printer, projector. So when you give print, that is output device. So you have given instruction to print. Instruction is executed by cell and forwarded to kernel. Kernel user want to print. Kernel have all the drivers. In Linux we say it as a module. Module and driver is same. Okay. So what exactly is a driver? Driver is like a translator. So when you purchase any device, you install the driver software. One software comes with that device. Okay, nowadays it is inbuilt in the operating system. That's why we are not using. If you think about 10 years back, if you want to use printer, you have to install the driver. If you have to use webcam, you have to install the driver. But now almost common drivers are inbuilt in the operating system. That's why we don't install. We simply plug and automatically it detects. So kernel stores all the drivers. So when any instruction comes, then in the format how the printer is going to understand, it will convert the instruction and forward it to printer. and printer will print out the page and we receive it. Understood? So kernel job is to execute or get the work done from the hardware. So there is a two-part cell and kernel. I hope these things are clear. Now, if I ask you what is VLC media player, then it is kernel or cell? Huh? It is a utility program or it is an application on top of cell. On top of operating system, we install MS Office, we install Chrome, we install Adobe Reader. So these all are what? Utility program or application software we say. Okay. So based on our requirement, we install those softwares. Is it clear? So again, when we have any utility program, we execute, it comes to cell, then cell forward is to kernel. Utility or application software does not interact directly with the kernel. Okay. So this was your kernel and cell. Now coming to Linux uses basics. So log in to a Linux system. Similar how we log in Windows. Username, password. Okay. Then what is the difference? So when we talk about difference between Windows and Linux, in Windows, how many login console we have? Login console means the place from where we can log in. How many we have in Windows? Only one we have, right? Not administrator, only one place. Either you log in with administrator or with your own name. Only one place from where you can log in and work. In Linux, we have 7 consoles. Okay. In Windows, only one. In Linux, 7 consoles. Out of 7, 6 is command line and 1 is graphical. Graphical or you can say desktop. So login using username and password, two type of login screen we have. Text based means complete command line and graphical. So text based will leave you self prompt means it will give you prompt after login to type the commands only. And graphical login will give you a desktop similar to Windows where you will have the icons, options. Each user has a home directory. In command line, we use word directory. In graphical, we use the word folder. Okay, directories and folders are same. When we are working in command line, we say directories. When we are working in graphical, we say the same as a folder. Okay. So each user has a home directory. Home directory means like a personal locker, wardrobe, where you can keep your personal belongings. So here the personal belongings will be what? Files and folders. Okay. User want to keep his own personal files and folder. He can keep in home folder, in his own home folder. Plus personalized settings. So when you are on railway station, can you do personalized setting? No, I don't like this color. I want to keep it green. I want to keep it yellow. Can you do on that public place? You cannot. Similarly, in Linux also, in the public location, you cannot keep your personalized settings. So personalized setting means what? When you are going to log in, accordingly this environment, your desktop environment should look like that. Or when I am going to log in, automatically this command should run. So you cannot say when I am going to enter on railway station, come with flowers. So that you can instruct only in your house to your brother, sister, wife, husband, whoever is there. When I am going to enter in the house, stand with one glass of water. You can give this type of instruction and they will follow also. So similarly we can have the same in Linux, the personalized settings. When I'm going to log in every day, I have to do the email check. I have to check for the new email. Automatically the backup should start. Automatically when I'm leaving, I'm going to log out, it should clean all the temporary files. So this type of task, which is known as personalized settings, can be defined and stored in home folder only. Is it clear now? Use of home folder. So every user will have his own home folder where he can store his personalized settings and the data. One user is not allowed to go in another user home folder or cannot access another user's home folder by default. Okay. So what does it mean? Definitely, no one can enter in each other's house without his permission by default. So here the meaning is, if I have to share anything, then I should keep it on the public place, not inside my home folder. I've created one file. I want to share it with another user. But another user cannot enter in my home folder, then how he can access? Even if I give full permission also. So for that situation, we have to store or create the file in public location where everyone can access. Clear? Switching between different virtual consoles. Okay. So just now I said that there are seven different console where we can log in and work. In Windows, if you are working and your screen is stuck, what you will do? Escape. Full hanged. Restart. No other choice. In Linux, you have choice. If it is stuck, if it is busy, you can switch to another console. You don't need to restart Linux. At the same time, you can run different programs on different terminals, all the seven terminals. Also, at the same time, you can log in on the same machine with different users on different terminals. Okay. So if you are working on different terminal, how you will switch from one to another? Because the screen is only one. It will not be like a tab, it will open in a cascade view. So for that we have button Alt Control or Control Alt F1 to F7. Means when you press F2, it will open graphical. When you press F3, you will be on terminal 3. When you press F4, you will be on terminal 4. Understood? So these are the buttons or the keys which you have to use to switch from one to another. Maybe in some of your laptop it will not work. Then you have to use function button also. To press F1, F2, you will see there will be function. When you press with the function, then it works. Then additional will be Fn button also. Alt, Control, function, then F1, F2, F3, and so on. And in some laptop without function also it can work. So this is to switch from one to another. Clear? So F1 to F7, where F2 is for graphical. In Windows, we have what? Command prompt. If I have to execute any command. So now we are talking about the desktop. Okay. So when we talk about desktop, write one more thing. Here we have two type of desktop environment. Okay. Two desktop environment we have in Linux. One is called KDE, K desktop environment. Another is genome, what we are using now by default, that is genome. So you can mention genome is the default one. Two desktop environment, you can say two desktop style also. So what will be the difference? In one, the menu will be on the top, you will click, it will appear like this. The second one, KD, it will like our Windows start menu type. Okay. So that will be difference. K desktop environment and genome. And genome is the default one. Done. Genome stands for what? For this, they have not given full names. Okay. So it is because of this something in the US, it means something. So they have given the name genome. So genome don't have any full names. Okay. So by default, when we install Linux and open, we will see genome terminal, application terminal. So genome terminal is what? When you are working in Windows, you have to type any command. You open command prompt. Similarly, in Linux genome desktop environment, there is a terminal. Instead of command prompt, we have terminal. But here in this terminal, there is a one good thing. You can open terminal as a tab format, like how we open in browser, multiple tabs. So here in this terminal also you can open multiple tabs. On all those different tabs you can log in with different users, or you can execute different commands also. So that is the advantage here in genome terminal. Okay. So to create a new tab, control shift T, or there will be plus button like how we have in the browser, and we can open it. And rest all we will cover tomorrow. So you will remind me from here we have to start. And one more thing, uh, morning 6:45. Who is not sleeping on that time? Huh? So what you have to do, you have to remind me to bring hard disk. Okay, external hard disk, so that I will copy software to all. So those who can download software, download it today. Else tomorrow, remind me to bring the hard disk. So before we start the class, parallelly, we will copy the software. हाँ, अरे यहाँ क्लिक करना ये license information accept. And those who are not added in WhatsApp group, get added right now. I am going to share recorded session.